Okay, hello, welcome back. This to part 2 out of however many we get through in this series. If you are watching live, then we're gonna carry on, and hopefully you've been maybe having a little bit of a think about this between yesterday and today. If you're kind of working through these in your own time, then hopefully you've had a little bit of a break between the first episode and this one, and you're ready to sit down and do some more programming. Well done for showing up. One of the big things about this whole series is kind of just sticking to something and like chipping away at it over time as the days and the weeks go by. We're going to take this big problem of creating an application, a password manager, and we're just going to chip away at it until we can kind of break it down into its smaller parts and solve the problem without trying to overwhelm ourselves by trying to do everything at once. So the most important thing is doing it little and often, right? And staying committed, showing up every day, and just doing a little bit here and there. And so today we made our to-do list yesterday, and so we're going to have a little look through it and see what we need to do to get started. So the first thing we need to do is increment the version. So let's go down to our main function. I said that we'll do small numbers for days and big numbers for weeks. So we're now on version 0.2. How exciting. Okay, we've done that for today. Now, what I wanted to do was to implement a way to log on securely, and we're going to be tackling this today. And we're just going to aim to have that done today, okay? If we can get our way to log on securely, then that will be a success. And then we can come back later on in the week to look at these next things on the to-do list, okay? And hey, who knows? Maybe this implement a way to log on securely might take us longer, might take us another session, and that's absolutely fine. We're kind of taking this as it goes. So let's get started. Now, yesterday we made this little account menu, and we kind of put in place some things that we can do once our account is kind of logged in. And we've also got this main function which runs the program, right? Now we've got this variable here, program is running equals true, and then we're saying while program is running, we're going to the account menu, and then your user can choose what they want to do, and they can go from there. Now, really, what we want is, while the program is running, we want the user to be logged in. Okay, so we're going to say user logged in. Okay, and I guess we should, we're going to set that equal to, let's say, authenticate user. And we're going to write that function, okay? That doesn't exist yet. I just pulled that out of thin air. And so we're going to write that function to authenticate the user. And this is going to either be true or false, okay? And then we're going to say while user is logged in, equal to true. I don't have to put equal true there. I could literally just say user logged in, program is running, because we can just say while true. But we're going to leave it like that just so that it's clear. Okay, so while our user's logged in, then we're going to do our account menu. So we're going to look at this authenticate user today and try and get in some user authentication. Only then, when they've authenticated, will we run the actual account menu. So right now, let's, this doesn't exist, so we can't run it because we're just going to get an error. Now, what I'd like to do is put all of the authentication in a new file, just so that it's tucked away and out to one side, and we can just refer to it by authenticate user. So I'm going to just copy that name, and we're going to paste it in a new file. Our new file is going to be called authentication.py. You could call this, I don't know, log in or log on or something. Authentication sounds nice and official though. So we will, I will use authentication here. And what we're going to do is we are going to define our authenticate user function. Now, any other functions that we need to put, we need to use, we can put in here as well, and they'll all be kind of hidden away from our main code, just to keep this file nice and clean, and so it's not hundreds or thousands of lines of code long. It'll all be sat nicely in authentication, okay? And what we're going to have to do in our main.py is right at the top, maybe under our to-do list, we will import authentication. You can see it's already picked it up. It auto-completed for me. If you didn't see that, let me just do that again. Okay, it doesn't like it because I just deleted it. Import authentication. You can see there that it's realized that that's a file in our project. So I'm going to choose authentication. And then down here, what I'm going to say is I'm going to say authentication dot authenticate user. Okay, so we were using that module, that authentication library module file, whatever you want to call it. We're using that file that we've imported, and we're using the authenticate user function from there. So this is all we're going to really do. Oh, sorry, this screen is, I'm losing space on my screen here. Let's make a little bit more space here. That's a bit nicer. So this is all we're really going to do in the main function today. We're just going to make sure that this works. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into authentication.py, and we are going to say return false. And we're also going to take some input from the user. Okay, and we're just going to test this is working. So welcome to Password Manager 0.2. And it does nothing because I didn't put anything in input here. So let's just, I don't know, put that for now. So let's try this again. So you can see it's asking for name. I could put Mr. Johnson. Oh, if I could spell right. Okay, and it's just going to keep asking me for my name because we're returning false all the time. If I was to return true, if we run this, name, and I could put anything here. We literally, it doesn't matter what we put in at the moment because we're not controlling the flow of our program here. If I put in Mr. Johnson again, this time I've gone into the account menu. So we can see that depending on whether we're returning true or false from this function is controlling how our program is flowing. So that's fab. Now we just need to make sure that only the right people get in and they can do it without having to edit the source code. So let's do that. So we're going to ask the user for their username and their password, okay? So we are going to say username equals input, and we're going to say, please enter your username. Now, anytime I put in some, like a thing to the user, please feel free to use your own brain, your own creativity, and you can jazz up these messages however much you like. It is, I don't want you to feel like you have to copy this word for word. You can call your variable names different things, okay? This is just a guideline, and this is like completely your project, and hopefully I'm just here to kind of give you ideas and prompt you and help you along the path. And so, yeah, if you think you can name something better, by all means, please go for it. And also, if you feel like you kind of get it and you're happy to just like pause this and have a go at it yourself, that's absolutely fine as well. In fact, I'd encourage it. But if you want a nice, easy life, then feel free just to follow along with what I'm doing. So we're going to say password equals input, and we're going to say, please enter your password. And you can see I'm putting new line characters here at the end, just so that we have to enter our information on a new line. Now, there are some pros and cons to asking for like the username and password together rather than asking for the username, and then if the username is right, asking for the password. And to keep things simple, we're just going to ask for both of them at the same time. Okay. Now we're going to say if username is equal to, okay, now we need a value here. We need like a master value, right? So we are going to just put in a placeholder for the moment. So I'm just going to say if username is equal to Bob, that'll be our username for the time being. And password is equal to the world's strongest password, password 1, unbeatable. We're going to return true. So if that's the case, then we're going to return true. Else, we are going to, so if either one of those are wrong, then we are going to return false. And we should also probably output a message to the user, right? So if their username isn't equal to Bob or their password isn't equal, we're not going to tell them what one's wrong, because if you think about it, if someone's trying to like hack into you, if you tell them that their password's wrong, or if you tell them their username's wrong, then they know which one they got right. If you see what I mean, they know kind of what they need to focus on to firm it up. So we're not going to give any more information than we need to about this. We're just going to literally say invalid credentials or something like that. Invalid username or password. Please try again. Okay, lovely. So let's take this for a spin. So you can see here that we don't have to even touch the main function. We tested that we had integrated this file with that just fine. And so now what we're going to do is we are going to just run this, and it should just still keep working, which is great. So welcome to Password Manager 0.2. Please enter your username. So let's type in Bob, but instead of password 1, I'll type in, I don't know, I was going to say hello. Let's try that. Hello. Okay, invalid username or password. Please try again. And then we come back to enter your username. Fantastic. Now, what I would like to do is I would like to clear the screen every time that we do some kind of major thing. And I would quite like to be able to wrap that up in a function. There are going to be some things in this project where lots of different files that we work in are going to want to do the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a very boringly named file called helper, okay, helper.py. And what we're going to do is we're going to have common things that we need in our different files like main and authentication. Okay, we'll have them in here so we can just import this and we can use its functions. And what I'm going to write is a clear function. And what clear is going to do is, actually, we need to import OS for this. So we're going to say import OS. And clear is just going to clear the console. So you can see here where it says invalid username or password, please try again. What I'd quite like to happen is the text above it, all of this that I've just highlighted, I'd like all that to just go away before we then print that out. I'd like to clear that screen. So if I remember rightly, the syntax for this is os.system. And then we can say clear. Now there is a different message you have to put here depending on what operating system you're using, and you can be a bit more clever about this. This is a very kind of dumb way of doing this, I guess. There are fancier ways. In fact, let's have a quick clear. What is it? Clear terminal Python. I can't believe we're like, I don't know, 45 minutes into this project, and this is the first time I've Googled something. Okay, I know what I'm looking for. Here we go. That's kind of it. System. Okay. Oh, okay. CLS or clear. Okay, lovely. Don't need to. Yeah, that all looks fine. Okay, so yeah, I think we're fine. So I think we can say CLS or clear. Did they say? Yeah. And if we just import this, so we're going to, at the top of our authentication file, we're going to import our helper. And then down here, what we're going to do is, if it's invalid, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to say helper.clear. So we're going to clear the screen, and then we're going to print invalid username. And then it's going to pop up and say, please enter your username. Okay, so if we run this now, so find Bob, hello. And now you can see that we've cleared the screen and we've tidied this up, right? So it's a bit more like an application where you don't just have a complete log of everything you've ever done in the application. We're kind of keeping things tidy as we go. And that's really nice. So anything else that we need that's going to kind of be handy in our programs, we can kind of add to this helper file, and that would be fab. And you'll notice that this is just a one-line thing, os.system CLS clear, and I've put it in a function. This is so that later on, if I decided to kind of make this or change how this works, then I just have to change it here and it won't affect anything else. So it's just a bit more future-proof. Okay, fantastic. So what I would like to do is I would like a main menu now. So I would like the option to log on or exit, right? I think that would be quite good. So what we're going to do is we are going to give ourselves some options. So we should probably do that in main. So we're going to give ourselves a menu. So while program is running, we are going to say, let's say user choice is equal to, I keep putting a double equals, it's so bad. Let's get rid of this as well so there's a bit more room on my screen. We're going to say user choice is equal to input, and we're going to say something, but first we need to print their options, right? So we're going to print, and actually we should probably put all of this in a function. So we've got account menu there. Let's also write a function for main menu. Sorry, my mind is flitting from one thought to another. So let's grab this and let's say, let's pop this in here. Okay, and we're going to do much like we did up here with our options. It's a bit overkill because we're going to only have 2 at the moment, but it's just, again, makes it a little bit future-proof. Now, I don't need all of these. So I'm still using this kind of idea of having a list, but instead of having all those options that we had in our account menu, in the main menu, we're simply going to say log in or exit. Okay, and then we're going to go through this. So we're going to say for I in range, oh, not in range, in range, length of options. So we're going to go through this loop as many times. And at the moment, yeah, absolutely, there's only 2 options, and we could have just used 2 print lines. But if in the future we decided to have more options, like create an account, then actually that's quite a good idea. Let's just put that as an idea. I'll put a question mark at the end so I know it's like, is that an idea? Create an account creation option, so that multiple people could sign up and use this, and you could have different users. That's quite an interesting idea. Okay, so back to what we were doing. So options equals login or exit, okay? And then we're going to print I+1 just like we did in yesterday in our account menu. And we're also going to print our options array, but only the thing at position I. Choose my changes. Okay, it's okay. There's some internet issues, but we seem to be okay. So here we go. So we're printing out the options here, and maybe we should also print that we're in the main menu. And the good thing about this is that we can kind of make this look a little bit jazzy as well, which will be quite nice. So let's print main menu, and maybe let's print a character. So let's do maybe a dash, and let's times that by, like, I don't know, 20. Would that be overkill? 15. Okay, and then so we'll get a nice line of dashes underneath there. Options equals login or exit. We're going to go through those options. We're going to print out a number, and what we'll do is we'll do the same as we did up there, but we're going to do it in a different way. So you might remember that last time we had this. So we had string I+1, and then so we converted I+1. So we did that maths first. So whatever I was, so when I starts at 0, add 1 to it, so it's 1 right at the start. We convert that 1 into a string. We concatenate it with a bracket, and that's the first thing in our print statement. And then we have options I as the second thing. Now I'm going to do this in a slightly different way, and this is one of my favorite things in for using strings. So we're going to have a string like this. We're going to do curly brackets, okay? And then we're going to do a rounded bracket, and then a space, and then curly brackets again. And I'm going to say dot format. And what dot format is going to do is it's going to, I'm going to make sure I put my end brackets here because I need to make sure there's 2. What dot format's going to do is it's going to look for a set of curly brackets, and where it finds one, it's going to take the first set of curly brackets and it's going to match them to the first thing in these brackets after format. Okay. And then it's going to go to the next set of curly brackets and it's going to replace them with the second thing in this, so options I. And this is a really nice way of formatting strings without having to have loads of pluses and concatenation everywhere. Concatenation is important to learn about programming. It's an important concept. Once you've learned it, it's nice to be able to step away from it. Okay, so we've got our user choice here. And what we're going to do is we are going to say that if user choice equals what could we do something more clever? I think we could. But anyway, if user choice is equal to 1, we're going to return true. Otherwise, we're going to return false. So we'll end the program. Okay, lovely. And then just before, so our user choice, yeah, we need to put some text in here for the input. So we're going to say, please please enter the number of your choice. Please enter the number of your choice. It sounds weird, but it's fine. It'll do. We can optimize the text at a later time. Okay, so we've got our main menu there, and that's going to decide whether we're going to log in or not. So we're going to say, what are we going to say? We're going to say, program is, no, we don't want to save it as decisions. Program is running is equal to main menu. So main menu is going to return true if our user wants to log on. Okay, so we're going to say if program is still running. It's probably a bad idea using the same variable that's controlling this loop, but it's also kind of not, because if they choose to exit, then it's going to bypass this, and then it's going to just shut down. So I think it's okay. If program is running, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop all of this code inside this if statement, like that. Lovely stuff. Let's move this away a little bit. Okay, so while program is running is equal to true, our programming is running is now equal to main menu. And if they decide in main menu that they want to log in, so they choose number 1, that's the first option, then we're going to return true. If they want to exit, we're going to return false. And if they choose false, then program is not running, so this code won't trigger, and then it will break and it will come out and it will we will end. And the same with account menu, but actually what we want here is we want this loop here. While user logged in equals true, we're going to say user logged in equals account menu. So here we want to keep this loop going all the time they're logged in. And then when they log out, they're going to come back to the main menu and they're going to keep going round and round and round until they decide to exit. Let's run this and see if it actually works. Okay, look at this. Lovely. Welcome to Password Manager 0.2. Main menu, we've got a little bit of formatting I'm starting to think about putting it in. We've got login or exit, okay? And it says, please enter the number of your choice. So let's enter a number 1. Okay, and we've gone straight to the login screen. Fantastic. So it's now asking me to enter my username. Now, if I do that, really what I want to do, I want to be really up on making sure that I'm kind of keeping this nice and formatted, right? So I'm going to import authentication. I'm also going to import helper. I could do this as 2 lines, and it's probably going to complain at me that I unused. Okay, sometimes it complains at you that if you do it on the same line. So I'm going to come down here. We wrote that helper function earlier, okay, helper.clear. So I can use that in main as well now. So I can come down here, and I can, where am I going to put it? So equals main menu. If program is running, then we're going to say, actually, I guess after the main menu, we're going to clear regardless. Yeah, so we're going to get the input, and then actually we're going to say helper.clear here, right? Because whatever they choose to do, they're going to choose to exit or they're going to choose to log in. And you can think of that as like going to a different screen. And so we're going to go to a different screen here. So let's run this. And if I press login, fantastic. I'm taken to a nice new screen where I can enter my username. So I'll enter Bob. Please enter my password. Hello. Okay, look at this, fantastic. Okay, invalid username or password, please try again. And it's taken me to the main menu. Okay, that's cool, that's cool. So user logged in, authenticate. Oh, so they weren't logged in, so that came round, came back up, and it went to the main menu. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, where did we have our invalid username? That would be in authentication. So over here, where we have invalid username or password, please try again. What we're going to do is we're going to show that to the user for a couple of seconds, and then we're going to stop, to kind of continue. So I'm going to take away the please try again, actually, and we are going to say, I'm going to do something really dumb now. We're going to say import the time library, right? So we're going to use the sleep function in the time library in order to pause the program for just a second. But something you might not know, you might do, and apologies if you do, but something you might not know is you can actually, instead of saying import time, you can say from time. Okay, so from that library, I want you to import the sleep function. Okay, so we can just take that one function, and then instead of saying time.sleep, we can just say sleep, right? Because we've actually taken that function and put it into this code. Now, here's the silly bit. We can then use the word as, and we can give it our own name. So I'm just going to call it pause. Okay, so from time, import sleep as pause, but you call it snooze or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, you could have kind of fun with this and call some very serious functions some very wacky things. But obviously, we want to kind of remember what is going on, of course. So what we're going to do here is we're going to say pause, and we are going to pause for, let's say, 3 seconds, and then we're going to clear the screen again. Okay, and then it's going to go back to the main menu. So let's run this. This is coming together really nicely. I can't believe it. So please enter the number of your choice. So 1 to log in. Please enter your username. Bob, please enter your password. And I'm going to put hello again. Invalid username or password. In menu. Fantastic. And so you can choose to log in again. Please enter your password. Bob, or your Bob, enter your password. Now we'll put in the most secure password in the world, password 1. And we are into the account menu. The account menu isn't looking very good. So let's get rid of that. We're using this app and our username and password are just on the screen while we're in the account menu. So let's tidy that up. Let's go into our account menu here. And first of all, what I'd like to do is I would like to, actually, I guess it makes sense to, it makes sense to like clear the screen at the top of a menu, right? As soon as you go to a menu, it makes sense to clear it. It's going to get confusing if we're clearing in like different parts all the time. Where are we clearing here? Authenticate user. Okay, so that kind of makes sense. Invalid username or password. And then I guess really, so I'm going to take that one out of here actually. And at the top of our account menu, we're going to clear, and at the top of our main menu, we're going to clear. Then we're going to print in our account menu. Actually, I'm going to steal it from main menu. So I'm going to take this and pop it here, but instead of main menu, we're going to say account menu, and we are going to print this again. That's absolutely fine. So let's run this and see if we can log in successfully. So log in. Bob. Hello. That fails. Invalid username and password. It pauses. It clears. Back to the main menu. Lovely. Go to log in. We're going to log in as Bob. Now we are going to put in some like dummy values for the username and password for the rest of the program, so we don't have to constantly log in every time we want to test this program. But at the moment, I'm really testing the login here, and it is helpful to be able to control what values go in. Okay, lovely. And now we've got the account menu, and we've cleared all the gubbins before it, and we are cooking. Okay, please pick an option from the list above. Could quite do with a colon there. Lovely. You see I've printed here rather than putting this in user input. I guess it's a bit silly. We can take that out and we can just put this in here. Sorry, forgetting how cramped my screen is. I'm actually at 200% zoom in my browser here to try and make this nice and big on your screen, and I'm at the max text size as well, and it's just trying to get a good balance, which is a little bit difficult. Okay, so we have a very, very crude logon system now. So if I go back to authentication, we have our username and our password, and our username and our password are hard coded into our file here. Okay, and one thing I'd really like to do is have a list of our authorized users. So in fact, let's set that up now. So let's add a file, and we're going to call this users.txt. Why not? Why not? Users.txt, the old text file. Okay. Now we're not going to store our users in here as plain text. We're not going to have like Bob and password one. We're going to be a bit more clever about this, and we're going to look at how we might encrypt these so that we can store them in a much more sensible way. It's not going to be bulletproof by all means, but hopefully it should make it a little bit safer. So if someone was to get a copy of this, they're not going to instantly be able to see what my password is. We should never store passwords in plain text, unless it's password one, which is of course the most strong password in the world. So implement a way to log on securely. We've not quite done the securely bit yet because our username and our password are hard coded in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to update this to-do list, and we're going to say improve log on system. When you say system, you sound very, very, very clever and very official. Improve log on system to be more secure. Okay, and what this means is we're going to have a look at how we can, instead of saying if username equals Bob and password equals password one, we're going to read from a file, an encrypted file, and get their username, get the password, and later down the line we might add to this as well so that other users can create accounts, and we can check to see whether whether they've got a registered account, and then we can log them in. Okay, but this is a good place. We're in a good place here. We've done a good stint, and I think this is a good place to come to rest here. We have updated this a little bit. We've made it look a bit prettier. We've got 2 menus now. Can you believe it? Who would have thought when you woke up today that you'd be in possession of 2 menus? I know. So we've got, I haven't really tried our exit. Let's just make sure we can exit. Shutting down password manager. Look at that. Fantastic. And if I just log in, and then if I log in properly, Bob, password 1, and then press exit, I'm back to the main menu, and then 2. Oh, how amazing is this? Okay, it's like we almost have an application. This is going to get much better. Don't worry. Thank you for participating in this. I hope you've been able to code along, and I hope I haven't been going too fast or too slow for you. But this is for you to kind of dictate your own pace. So if you do want to pause me and just plow on, or if you want to circle back and rewind and go through other things, then that's absolutely fine. This is for you, a project for you to take at your own pace and to keep coming back to and chipping away at. And we're going to have an amazing, amazing app by the end of this. Okay, it's been a pleasure to develop with you, and I'm hoping I will see you in the next one. Have a I was going to say have a good day. Why not? Have a good day, and I will see you in the next video.